Hi guys, Shigu here, and today I'm going to make a video talking about the things that I wish I knew when I came to Linux in a way of lines of thoughts and things that can spark a different view on your mind. Because when we come to Linux, or when you're thinking about jumping to Linux, so the first thing that I took notes about is your distro is not your religion. I sing and I still see a lot of people doing distro wars on the internet because they think X is better than Y because of yada yada. Debian is the most stable. Arch is the best because it's cutting edge. CatchOS is the best one for gaming. Linux Mint is the best one because it's the best desktop. Doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Look, if you're using a distro and it's good for you and it makes everything work for you, that's great. But it doesn't mean that other distros suck. Okay, you could have had a bad experience with a distro, and I'm not gonna say like a distro made by Mr. Poopy Pants 2 weeks ago is the best distro ever and you should respect it, and all the other distros, maybe it is, but if you have a distro that you like, it works for you, you don't need to every time that you see a comment saying that, oh, this distro is not that good. Maybe the person that is commenting that has a reason for it, you know? You don't need to save your distro like it's your dying mother and, oh my god, I need to defend my distro for everything in my life. And you don't need to stick with your distro for your whole life. You can change distros, and if you see something that might be better on another one. Recently I tried to use Debian on my laptop. I couldn't. Okay, I'm too used to Pacman and EA. I cannot install things with sudo apt install because it never finds the applications for some reason. So yeah, that's the first thing that I wanted to add. The second thing is I see a lot of people thinking, oh, I'm gonna watch a bunch of tutorials on the terminal and I'm gonna get very good before I start using it. My guy, that's not gonna happen. I think this applies for a lot of things, but the terminal especially, because it's like you're watching a tutorial to learn how to use a hammer. If you see one time how to use a hammer, you go and then you use it. If you forget how to use it, and you search how about it, because if you just keep looking like, oh, top 100 Linux terminal commands, you might find something good there, but first of all, you probably not gonna use it. Okay, you need to go around and find what you really use it, and then it's gonna get stuck in your brain. I've seen those mouse pads. I'm not shade if you have one, but with a bunch of commands of Linux, and I really want one because I find this cool. But I think if you have one of those mouse pads, please comment here. Do you really use the commands on the mouse pad that you have all the time there? Because if I use 20 commands on the terminal, that's a lot. Okay, that's a lot of commands already. I have the basics now, and that's what matters. So just get down, start using it. You're gonna run into some problem. You're gonna Google how to use it, and then you're gonna learn it. Okay, oh, permissions, I forgot how to do that. Google it. Oh, how to move a file, I forgot. Google it. And then one day it's gonna get in your brain, and you're not gonna have to think about anything when you use the terminal. It's gonna just go ahead, do the first step, the first leap. That's everything you need. Don't overthink it. The third thing that I want to comment is stick to established stuff. Like I said before, oh, there's a new distro that just came out 2 weeks ago by Mr. Poopy Pants. You don't know Mr. Poopy Pants, okay? Open source distros and maintaining stuff is a very specific field because you need people doing that for the love of their hearts. Okay, when you have big projects like Linux, like big distros, like established stuff, you have backings, you have money behind it. Okay, donations and the love of people for it. And when you have a specific tool or a specific distro that is maintained by only one person, you don't know what might happen tomorrow. Okay, the person might lose passion for the game, he might die. Okay, and you're not gonna have your distro anymore. So big names, they're big for a reason. Just go there, do your stuff. You're not gonna one day wake up not having your applications anymore or your distro anymore. The fourth thing that I want to talk about is document your stuff, like document your system, because it depends a lot on what distro you're using. But for example, if you go with a more build it yourself distro like Arch Linux or the ones in that field, you might lose track of what you have on your computer or how you can access it, because there's a lot of stuff. Okay, so, oh, my configuration files are here. This are the apps that I have to do this stuff. Just one file with the things you wrote down, just to document it. Not even if you throw at a GPT of your life to find it, or like, oh, in this file, and do I say something about this if it gets too big, just for you to remember later, because there are stuff that are important that you might forget and you might need to do it again. For example, I studied Japanese, and for using the Japanese input on the computer, you need to download a different one that does not come natively on Arch Linux. So I downloaded, I tried to use on GNOME, put it there, and never worked. Never worked. And when I restarted the computer, it was gone. Like in the GUI, it didn't show up Japanese anymore. And I was like, what's happening? I googled it, searched a lot, blah, found it out. I need to uninstall that it is on the system, and then it works. Okay, so that's it. I need to uninstall it. That was the thing that I need to do. But I was not familiar with input methods on Linux. So then a few months later, I formatted or put it on another computer, and the same error was happening, and I completely forgot about it. So if I had documented, oh, on Arch Linux, I remove this input method, install this one, and it works. If I put that, and then even if I threw it at LLM later asking, oh, how do I fix this based on this document? I could have not wasted my time again finding out what's going on, okay? Because we have a bunch of stuff in our minds, and sometimes a document is very important. The fifth thing that I want to talk about is stick to defaults, okay? You might have heard other people talking about that, but I'm just gonna bang it here because in the beginning, I was trying to find the most specific like set of key bindings that I could use to be the fastest that I could. And okay, you might do that. That might be good for you. When you need to get into another computer, when you need to use stuff that is not yours, that's really gonna get to you, okay? Me going from Linux to Windows on my company's laptop has already bothering me because it's kind of different, the things that I do. Imagine even changing Linux environments, you need to remember all the things because the ones that you use are not there anymore. So, oh, if you learn Vim key bindings, okay, stick to the key bindings. On your browser, all the key bindings that the browser has, stick to the defaults one, okay? Tmux, the terminal multiplexer stuff, stick to the defaults, okay? Then when you get into another computer and you try to use that, you're gonna be able to, your muscle memory is just gonna click. You won't be lost. Okay, it sucks when you get into another computer and you're lost and you feel like you're 90% of the time trying to remember how to do stuff. Just stick to the defaults. It's gonna get you a long way. My sixth point is careful with AI. Okay, I'm an AI user. I made a video about AI right now, but I need to be very specific because I want to really pin down this topic. Documentation is very important. Like Arch Wiki is one of the best wikis ever of documentation of everything in your system, and you will be able to do everything reading it. But sometimes one is kind of hard to find some stuff if you're not very technical, you don't know how to search in it. Second of all, we're addicted sometimes, we just a few types and the information comes to us. It's very, very addicting. When you are doing things that you're not very familiar with, you need to be very careful, because if you're just running terminal commands on your computer that you don't know what they're doing, and you're just believing what the AI is saying to you, you're gonna destroy your computer, okay? Linux does not have the hand holding that Windows has, or Mac, that you won't be able to remove your root folder, okay? You will break your computer. You need to be careful of that. Double check everything, okay? Don't fall for the mistake of just pasting and copying it. I broke my computer doing that one time in the beginning when I started, like the first video of this channel, I think, how I broke my Arch Linux. And it was literally that. It was me using AI and I broke my Arch Linux. So be careful and don't fall for it. We were on 6, now we are on 7. There are levels for this stuff. And the 7th topic that I want to talk about is there are levels to this stuff. You will see a lot of people out there doing the craziest terminal commands ever, having the most riced setup ever. And you're gonna think, this isn't for me. I'm just gonna back Windows. Okay, I'm not good enough. I don't know what I'm doing here. This is not, though. Calm down. Like everything in life, there are people that have very specific uses and very specific things that they need, or they have a bunch of free times on their hands. That happened a lot when PewDiePie made a video of Linux, and people were like, oh my god, this is not for me. This guy is using Linux for 3 months and he rised his Hyperland setup and he's doing his AI cluster, and it's about, my guy, he is a retired YouTuber with a bunch of money and a bunch of free times on his hand. Okay, he is gonna get better in that, and he's doing it for making his system better. For example, you're using a tool. This is a tool for me, especially. This is just a tool. It just makes me do my stuff better. So you don't need to have the fanciest computer around, okay? You're not worse for using Ubuntu, or you're not. This is not okay. You don't compare yourself that much with other systems around. This is, you'll get there one day. If you really want it, you're gonna get there one day, okay? Just don't let that make you want to go back to your older ways with the Windows. Is you're in a better place. The eighth topic is the terminal is awesome. Okay, in the beginning I was very scared of the terminal. I was like, oh my god, okay, I'm just gonna stick to the GUI and I'm gonna, and I could do that, okay, but I hated using the App Store on Mint because I don't know, it felt so weird installing apps through that, and for some reason using sudo apt install, it was better for me. I thought it was okay, this is the right way of installing it, and then that's what made me really get into the terminal, because I used it in college only to like, oh, pip install or pip run the commands that I was doing at the time, compile C code. That was the terminal for me. So after installing packages through the terminal, I was like, oh, I can do things really fast in here, because the graphical user interface has the purpose, okay? If every time you got into a new software you need to learn all the commands for it, if you need to do something, it sucks, okay? Is this learning curve steeper? That's not good. There's a reason why we have this for almost 30 years now, so it has a reason. But if you're really familiar with the terminal and you have a very specific task that you need to do, it's the best way, okay? So let yourself go, use the terminal like I said before, and you'll learn the things that you need, you will remember, okay? That's a fact. The ninth topic that I want to talk about is backup your system, okay? Especially if you are on an unstable territory or you are scared that you'll break your system. So right before, for example, you try to mess with your bootloader, grub, you want to write grub, you want to give it a little skin, use timeshift. Timeshift is the one that I use, and it's the one that comes like as a default in most Linux distros. So timeshift, you back up. You don't back up your actual files. Like you could back up your home folder. Your backup's gonna be way bigger, but you could back up only the state of your system that you could click and revert to it. So if you broke something, it would like you would rebuild itself. So that's important, and that's also my first video, the thing that I took away from it, because I hadn't backup my system, and the backup that I had was like months old, and I was like, damn. So schedule like weekly backups for okay, this is running in the background. Sometimes you're gonna back up your system, and if you break something, you're gonna go back and you're not gonna break your head. In 10, it's a more niche thing, but gaming, because it took me a while to get into Linux gaming, because I had this on my head that Windows was the gaming medium. And nowadays there are a bunch of more videos about how Linux is better for gaming and is good, and or is a pair with Windows. But in my time, it wasn't like that. Like it didn't have that many videos about it. But just jump into it. I had dual boot just because of it. Now I have it just because my girlfriend likes to play Genshin, and when she comes over, she likes to play here. But I have Windows just for that. You could just move your games to Windows, and if your game does not support Linux, come on, man. This is a way of life. Sometimes this is just my mentality. But if the game that I play does not support the system that I use, screw them. Okay, I like to use my system. This is my vision of stuff, and if they don't support it, okay, I'll go to one that does. Okay, Marvel Rivals, for example, is a shooter that accepts Linux, and I don't know, I don't see a bunch of hackers on it. I don't see people talking about that. In Valorant, for example, that uses Vanguard, it has a bunch of hackers. But just my opinion. These are the things that I wish if I could talk to myself about it a long time ago, I would, and I hope it helped you in some way. So goodbye.